Alright, you just got the audition notice for your first film audition, or actually any audition for this matter, and you've never auditioned before. What's going to happen? Well, today we are going to be discussing what happens at film auditions, what should you expect, what's going to happen when you go. This can be super scary, but don't worry, I've got your backs with this video. So stay tuned and be sure to take notes. The first thing that happens when you go to a film audition is that you have to sign in. Now, I honestly hate this part of the audition process the most because this includes putting in a whole bunch of your information. It's not just like your name, your address, your phone number. I would be okay if it was just those few things. But then they start asking about my height, my weight, my size, my shoe size, what my parents' numbers are, my parents' names. They want me to list all the experience I've done that is already printed on my resume. They want me to write it all over again. They want to know why I want to be there, a whole bunch of different information. So I suggest that before you go to an audition, make sure you have your parents' numbers and your number. Make sure you have a headshot and resume, definitely. Make sure you have your shoe size, your pant size, your shirt size. You can be able to sum up the experience that you've done, because sometimes what they ask you to do is they ask you to put down the highlights of your resume. So what's the best work that you've done? Be sure to write legibly. Have your parent write it for you if you can't write legibly enough for them to read. They should never ask for your social security number or credit card numbers. Things like that means that this audition is probably a scam or just something weird. You shouldn't be leaving your social security number anywhere. So after you sign in, they'll probably direct you to a seat in the lobby. Now, there are a couple of things that could happen. If they want you to have prepared a monologue, then they're not going to hand you any scripts. If it's a cold read, however, they are going to hand you 1 or 2 scripts. I've been handed 3 scripts to go over and to read, and then you are going to perform them in the audition room. So there are a couple of things to know when you are looking at a script for the first time and you've never done a cold read before. Don't worry about memorizing it, because there's no way you're going to memorize the script that fast unless you have photographic memory. Don't worry so much about how you're going to say your lines. That's what everybody starts doing, is as soon as they get the script, they start, figuring out how they're going to say their lines, which is great. But there are a couple more things that are more important. The who, what, where, why, and when. Who is the character? Who is the other people, and who are the other people in the scene? What is happening in the scene? What does your character want from the other person? In every scene, your character is going to want something from someone else, whether it's love, whether it's power, maybe it's money, maybe it's help, maybe they want to ask them out. Whatever it is, figure out what they want in the scene. Objective is when you talk about what the character wants, and then you have to figure out how do they try to get it in the scene. For example, if you are doing an audition and the character is a boy who is trying to trick his mom into letting him borrow the car. So he wants the car from his mom, so he's going to try a few different things. He may try begging, he may try manipulating, he may try lying, he may try guilt tripping the mom and saying, oh, well, you let my brother take the car out a week ago and you're not letting me. And there are a whole bunch of different tactics, and that's what you have to pay attention to. The last thing is that when you see a script, don't just read the lines. Make the character your own. Add something of yours that is special and that is unique. That is what will help you. My dog is going crazy, so we'll just wait. If it is a theater audition, they may take you to a dance room where they teach you and a couple of other people how to dance. They might teach you a dance combination. Oh my god, I did this once, and it was probably the scariest thing I've ever done. First of all, I took a lot of dance when I was younger, but I haven't taken it recently. And they taught these moves so fast. It was like boom, 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 and then they expected us to replicate it. I was so lost. I didn't know what I was doing. It was a mess. I think I could definitely do it better if I tried it again, but Yeah, if you're going to theater auditions, especially theater auditions where you know there's going to be dancing, make sure you bring your tap shoes or your dance shoes, your jazz shoes, and make sure you bring an extra set of comfortable clothes to wear that you're going to be able to dance in. Sometimes in auditions they let you change from your nice clothes to your dance clothes, so that way you have something a little bit more comfortable, like maybe you're wearing ballet tights or sweatpants. But that is just specifically for dance auditions. When you go into the room, be sure to be confident, smile, don't be afraid. The casting directors want to see you, and when they see your beautiful smile and your confidence, that makes them believe in you all the more. I think this is the one thing that I can do well, is that no matter how I'm feeling, I can always walk into the room with a bright, big, confident smile. And when you do that, it automatically raises the quality of your performance. So don't walk in scared, don't walk in shy. Casting directors judge you by the first 3 seconds that they see you. So by the first 3 seconds they see that you're quiet and shy and reserved, then they're not going to like that fact. They want to see someone who's open and confident, because if you're confident in you and your skills, that means they know that you can be able to do a good job. When you walk in, there's probably going to be someone, I can't tell you for sure. It could be the casting director, it could be the director, him or herself, or it could be the casting assistant, and you're gonna hand your headshot and your resume to them. Make sure your headshot and your resume is stapled together, so you have or glued together, so you have your headshot facing one way and then the resume on the back. So you have to get your resume to fit all on one page, and you're gonna hand it to someone, and then after you hand them your headshot and your resume, they're going to ask you to stand on a mark. If it was a theater audition, they may ask you to go to the pianist and hand the pianist your book, which is of the 16 bars, usually 16/32 bars that you're going to sing of a song, and you might talk to the pianist about what key you want the song to be played in. A tip for that, try to bring the song in the key that you want it to be played in, because the pianist does not have time to be trying to translate what's on the page into a different key. Make it easier on the pianist, make it easier on yourself, have the pianist play it in the right key, and the right tempo that you are comfortable in singing the song. If you take voice lessons, be sure to go over this with your voice teacher, so that way you can be comfortable in the song you're singing before you sing. After you're done either handing your headshot and resume to the casting assistant, handing your book to the pianist, you're going to go and you're going to stand on the mark or wherever they tell you to stand. It could be on a stage. Sometimes it's not on the stage, sometimes you're in a really tiny little room and they have a camera in front of you and they just ask you to stand in front of the camera. It could be a whole bunch of different things, and you have to be prepared for all kinds of situations. They may not even tell you where to stand, and that's usually they try to be nice about it and be like, hey, could you stand on the mark please, and slate your name. But if you don't, just try to be somewhere in front of the camera. I did do a video about slating, so just click on my face if you want to learn more about that. But in a nutshell, slating is saying your name, your age, and sometimes saying your agency. Sometimes they'll ask you to say what city you live in as well, especially for self-tape auditions. They're going to ask your age, your name, and your city. Go in, slate, make sure you stand up confident, strong, big smile, don't mumble, don't talk too fast, which is my problem. I often talk too fast. They'll usually say whenever you're ready. And this is when you perform. This is when you go and you begin showing the casting director what you've got. A couple of things. Most of the time they don't want you to look at the camera when you perform. They want you to look slightly to the side of the camera. Sometimes they'll have a person standing right there so you can look at them when you're talking. Make sure you don't look at the casting directors when you are saying your monologue or when you're reading from the script, because the casting directors want to be watching you. They don't want you to be saying the scene to them when they're trying to watch you. It makes them very uncomfortable. Just pretend like they're not there. If there's no one standing there that you can read to, pick a spot on the wall or above someone's head, not on someone's head, above someone's head that you can look at, and try to imagine the person you're talking to in the scene. Try to imagine their face right there. Never hold the script like this right in front of your face, because of course they can't see your face. Take it to the side and then down, so you can just glance and then look back up. Try not to read into the script but look up and look at the person. So you might need to take a quick second, look at the script, and look up and then begin saying your scene. Take as much time as you need. This time is for you. It's all you. This is the time where I would prepare you guys to be ready for anything. Anything can happen. They may ask you to perform another monologue even though you only prepared one. If you want to be an overachiever, prepare 2, prepare 3. A tip that I always hear is always have more than one monologue memorized at all times, refreshed, practiced, ready to go, so that at any time anyone asks you for a monologue, you could perform it, and you could perform it well. They may give you another script to read for. They may ask you to read as the other person in the scene, and sometimes the other person is like, oh, I read the girl part because I'm a girl, and then they may ask you to read the guy part. It's just, you just don't know what's going to happen, so be prepared for anything. Be flexible. A couple of things, they always say to have your script in your hand, even if you have the scene completely memorized, even if they sent the audition script to you beforehand, always keep the scene in your hand. There's a huge debate about whether to memorize your script before you go to an audition, whether not to memorize your script. Memorizing always helps, but then not memorizing can also work for some people. And there's not really a definite answer on whether you should or should not memorize. There's definitely pros and cons in each side of the debate. When you're done, the director can give you some direction. So he'll probably say, okay, that was good. Maybe could you try acting less surprised in this moment, or when she says this, or maybe could you try saying this line a different way, or being more angry. And this is the hardest part for me, because you have to go back, especially if it's a cold read, and you have to try to understand what they're saying to you and then perform it. So if they say, could you please try being more angry? Don't immediately start really angry and just yell through the entire thing. Think about why you would be more angry in the scene, and then use that. Instead of playing anger, play why you're angry, and just do that with everything. When they give you direction, this is often a good thing, because it means that they want to work with you and that they liked your reading the first time. They just wanted to change some things. This doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to choose you for the part or they're not going to choose you for the part. Like I learned, just because a director says great job and this was amazing, it doesn't mean that you're going to get the role, even if you think you completely nailed it. It just depends. Be confident in what you did, be proud of what you did, then leave it there as soon as you walk out the door. Remember that the goal is not to get the part, and that's the thing that actors always get confused. The goal is not to get the part. The goal is to win over the casting director, so that when next time, if you get to audition for them again, or they have another role that can be right for you, then they'll think of you because they realize that you did a good job. Getting the role is such a tiny little box. It's just they're looking for someone very specific, a look that's very specific, and it may have nothing to do with you. But if they like your acting skills and if they like your talent, then and they see a role that is right for you, they can save you, keep you on file, and the next time that they have a role that you could be right for, they may bring you into audition, or they may just even give you the part. You don't even know. If you mess up, stay in character. Don't apologize. Just try to keep on going through. Sometimes if you're trying to say it memorized and you say a few words wrong, it's okay. Try not to stop and start over, because when you stop and start over, the casting directors, there's a spider. The casting directors are going to expect you to be just as good or even better than the last time. And then it also breaks their concentration and their focus. They say, don't ask, can I please start over? Just say, I'm starting over, and start from the beginning. Because if you ask, can I start over, and then they say no, then you're in a really awkward situation. So if you need to start over, just start over. But if you don't need to start over, just keep on going through it. The worst thing that you could possibly do is probably freeze and apologize profusely and do all that stuff. They know that everyone makes mistakes. They know that everyone trips over words, that everyone mixes up words. It's okay. What they really want to see is how you handle that mix-up. Don't be rude, don't be disrespectful, don't chew gum, don't smoke in the room, don't wear too much perfume, don't wear on gobs and gobs of makeup. Be prepared for anything, be flexible. The audition room is the casting director's space, and you just have no idea what the casting director is looking for. They may not even have a script for you to read. They may ask you to do improv situations in which they give off a couple of scenarios and you have to go off of that. That happened to me in one audition, which I've actually vlogged and I am going to try to put up sooner or later. He asked me to do 3 scenarios in which were all improv, and that was probably like one of the most scary experiences because it's just you and there's no scene, it's not prepared, and you have no idea what's going to happen. So if you need to take improv classes, take acting training in order to be ready for those kinds of situations. When you're done, the director can ask you to read it again, or he can just say thank you. Sometimes they'll tell you when they're going to email back. Sometimes they'll say, oh, we'll email back if we're interested. Congratulate yourself because you just had a film audition, and that is amazing. Don't take callbacks or non-callbacks personally. I think about 70% of casting is the way you look and the way you sound. If you don't fit that mold, if you don't fit the age, if you don't fit the look, then immediately they may not like you just because of things you can't change. Just know that you did your best, and if you did your best, do your best and be happy that you did your best. And then always remember that there's going to be another time. Not getting the first, second, third, 10th role is completely normal in the acting industry. Sometimes you can get a really, really big part, and then the next theater performance you can get a really small part. That happened to me actually. I got a really, really big part, and then I got a really small part. And it's just, most of it is not personal. In the acting business, you can't take things too personally, otherwise you're going to get hurt. These are pretty much all my tips and telling you guys what happens in a film audition. Every film audition is different, every film audition is special, and they're very, very unique, and you can't really compare one to the other. Just relax, be yourself, and don't worry too much about what other people are doing or what they're thinking. I have a video about that where I talk about, just worrying about what the casting director is thinking. The casting director doesn't want you to do what they're thinking, they want you to do you. And if you do you and they want you, then it's perfect harmony. I hope you guys liked this video. I've been trying to do it for like, I don't know, a month, and I finally just decided to sit down and do it. Thank you guys so much for all your nice comments on my Instagram. We now have 600 followers, and so now it makes me happy because my Instagram account is the same as my subscriber account. So if you guys want to go check out my Instagram, it is down below, or you can look me up at Marie Tagbo. That's it. My Twitter is at mtagbo. My Snapchat is Marie Tagbo. You guys can shoot me questions. I always try to answer your questions on there. I love talking to you guys. Leave me questions in the comments below, suggestions for future videos, feedback, whatever you guys want to say. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you guys next time. Ciao!